Hi, Grant.
Hiya, how you doing?
Can we start then just with why Hull City? What was it that appealed to you about this job? Was it the next step, a natural progression in your career?
Exactly that. It's the club itself, the challenge for me, the next step to be, head coach at this level in the championship, and it's a natural progression for myself. I've had 3 years, well 2.5 at League One level, and the next challenge and the next step for me is to be a really good club like Hull, and hopefully I can come here and do as good a job I did as in terms of how we implement things at Doncaster, and that's my plan.
Obviously, Nigel walked away at the end of last season. What assurances have you been given with regards to budgets and transfers?
Well, firstly, Nigel's left a really stable football club and a really good bunch of players and character-wise, and I didn't expect any different because I played under Nigel. I know how he works, him and Andy Crosby. So in terms of that, I'm thankful and grateful for that. In terms of budgets and bringing players in, there will be players coming to the football club. We're working very hard on that at the minute. Obviously, you've seen Matt Ingram's come in, and we're hoping to move on a few others in the next couple of weeks. So that's the plan.
Is Marcus Maddison one of those players?
Speculation. I mean, once you come into this job, there's going to be speculation about everything, about players that I've been speaking to previously, or managed before, or coached before, and it's nothing but speculation. That's it. A couple of people's mentioned that to me, and it's just sheer speculation. Marcus is a very good player and done great for Peterborough, but he is a Peterborough United player.
Is one of the challenges also holding on to your best players this summer?
Yes, that's always a challenge at any football club, is holding on to the best players, but some of the boys done really well over the past couple of years here, and I'm sure some of them would want to test themselves at a higher level, but for me, I'd love to keep them here, and that's the way it is at the minute. There's no real plans for anyone to leave, which is good, and all we can do is try and strengthen the group, make it stronger, so we can have a really good season.
What are your ambitions then for the coming season? Just fell short of the playoffs last season. Is that realistic, the playoffs?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was. I'm a very ambitious person. I set high standards. I haven't really spoken to the players in terms of targets for next season, so it'd be wrong for me to come in here and tell you what I expect from them before I actually speak to the players on that, and we'll do that once we go to Marbella next week. So I'm really looking forward to working with them. I have done this week. It's been a good week. The boys have come back in a real good shape. Speaking to the staff and the sports science team and the physios, and they're in a really good place. Training's been sharp when they're on the grass. They look fit. They look strong. My job and Cliff's job is to make them robust, ready for this championship season, and so they're fit and ready to play. Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday when needed to be.
What do you make of the current squad? Did you know a lot about the group here before you took over?
Yeah, well, my knowledge is quite good in terms of the Championship and League One and League Two and underneath that. So I knew a lot about the group, obviously from afar. Getting to know them individually and collectively has been my first port of call, which I've done this week. Again, we'll work on that again next week and leading into a trip to Marbella the week after. So it's a strong group, it really is. There's some exciting young players coming through the 23s and the under 18s. As I've seen already, we've had 6 or 7 of them training with us, and that's what myself, Cliff, the coaching staff already in place that Nigel's worked with previously. They're all tremendous people, and I'm looking forward to picking their brains on the younger players as well as making my own opinion.
Have you got one eye at the moment on the situation with Harry Maguire, his future, given the potential sell-on, and how much of an impact could that have on your transfer?
I mean, that's not really for me. I'm focusing on the football. Everything, all the what ifs doesn't really interest me. I'm focused on what's in the building at the minute. I'm focused on what we're maybe trying to add to the group. The what ifs is for someone else to take care of, and that I'm here to try and get the best out of this group on the football pitch every week. Thank you.
Grant, did you speak to Nigel before taking it all off and getting it in detail, just to get a flavour of the squad and obviously, because he's one of those strengths weaknesses.
Yeah, I speak to Nigel quite often, really, and he's been a big help to me in terms of since I've moved into this sort of position. I spoke to him probably 6 or 7 times last season. Because the situation we were in at Doncaster, and a little bit of help and insurances from him, because having played under him and been involved in a promotion with him, he knows what it takes. So he's a great person to lend a shoulder to me. I didn't speak to him before because it happened so quickly. It all happened so fast in the space of 24-48 hours. But I've spoken to him since, and he hasn't got one bad word to say about anybody at this football club. And he's delighted for myself and Cliff, 2 of his former players, to be stepping into his shoes here, and hopefully we can do as good a job as he did.
How's the first week been? 5 days with the players.
It's been excellent. It really has. It's everything what I expected. The standard of the players, the tempo they play at, the way they train. You don't get this level, if you don't do that, and the standards that they set themselves every day. Experienced players in there like Eric Lehigh, and seeing how he works every day, just for example, is second to none.
How important was it to try and get the transfer done early as well, and just to get that ball moving, get that Nottingham deal done on day 2 that you were here? Yeah,
I think it was important, and I know Barry knows him really well from the Wickham days. Barry Richardson, the goalkeeping coach. So, one thing I do in terms of the goalkeepers, and I've always worked like this. They know the goalkeeping coach knows what he needs. So he had a big play on that, Barry. And he's come in and he looks great. He's settled in with the group already. There's 3/4 very good goalkeepers here, and they're all fighting with each other to try and be that number 1 come the first game in August.
Yeah, you said there's 3 or 4. Can you clear up what's happening with David Marshall? Is he definitely good? His contract finishes in 48 hours?
Yeah, Matt's come in. I've come into this group. There's obviously people left before me. I'm working with what's here at the minute. That's what I'm doing. So I wouldn't imagine David will be back. Obviously, you've seen Matt coming in, and we're quite pleased with what we've got in the goalkeeping situation.
And do you see Matt and George really pushing each other? There isn't a number 1 at the minute. It's going to be up to them throughout pre-season. Definitely, and that's all through the group. There's no guarantees with me anyway, and that's the way I work. You have to work hard in training. You have to perform week in, week out. One thing I am is a fair person, and if you deserve to play and you train well and you're playing well every week, then you'll keep your shirt. If you want to slack, the standards drop, then you'll come out. It's as simple as that. Do you anticipate getting any other deals over the line, within the next week or so? Are you close to anything?
Yes, we're close on a few. Obviously, it's good to be working. I've had 2 different sides of it, where I've had Peterborough in terms of a manager, head coach, where I had Barry Fry helping me. At Doncaster, I probably took it on a wee bit more myself, where I was dealing with the agents and contracts and things like that, and it wasn't easy. But here it's great to have Lee to lend a hand to myself, and he can take that a wee bit of pressure off me in terms of negotiating contracts, etc. like that. So I'm really pleased, and that'll help me focus more on the training ground, that side of it. And yes, we are close, but as I've always said, we're not close enough until they actually put pen to paper.
But is it important to try and swell that squad on there? Because there's not a big amount of numbers out there. If you take away the academy lads, there's
not. But one thing I always like to do is work with a tight group. I really do. I like to work with a tight group and bring maybe 2, 3, 4 / the 23s into the group and see if they can step up. People like Jacob Greaves and King Lewis Potter's really impressed me this week, just to mention a couple. And that's what I'm about as a manager and as a coach. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
You were at Doncaster, with a fire in your belly to sort of prove people and expectations wrong. Is that the same here a little bit? Because some people think, well, mine not destined to do particularly well, but you show people wrong.
100%, and I've had that from when I was young, right? Coming through over here from Belfast as a young kid. and proving people wrong right the way through my career. And my mindset is exactly that. You know, I want to do as well as I can, first and foremost for these boys who are in the changing room, and trying to improve them, you know, in every aspect of life and on the football pitch, because in turn that's going to make this team better. The results are going to be better, and everybody's going to improve.
Obviously, Doncaster fans are disappointed with the decision to leave, but you know, just a sense of time. And what would you sort of say? I mean, I suppose that's football.
I've got not a bad word to say about anybody at Doncaster. I loved my time. The fans took to me very, very quickly, and I'm really, really appreciative of that. You know, and you know, it was a really good season. I felt hurt, disappointed, broken almost, having not got to the final. But you know, like you say, things happen very quickly in football. Everyone there was so supportive of me at Doncaster, right the way through the club, from the chairman right down to the kit man in the kit room, and you know, myself and Cliff really enjoyed our time there. But now, you know, we've got a new challenge at the next level, and we want to try and progress ourselves, me and Cliff, and hopefully by that we can start progressing the whole up this league and challenging at the top end. I mean, again, they're not they're Doncaster Rovers players. The last thing I want to do is come in here and talk about any other team's players. You know, there's obviously a lot of good players at Doncaster, but there's very good players here. So I'm looking forward to working with them.
You use the low market very true at Doncaster, I suppose that would be an avenue for you potentially in recruitment.
Potentially, you know, it's potentially that is an option for us. Again, we'll assess that over the next few weeks. Ideally, we want our own players, if I'm going to be if the truth be told, and that's what we're working towards.